guys, we're back again.
It's a good evening from Doug.
And it's a good day from Steve.
There you go. Before we start, guys, I've got a question for you. Now, they haven't been prompted this, so they're waiting eagerly to see what it is. Do you know what a brass monkey is?
Yes.
Do you know, Doug?
No, I don't, to be honest. It sounds something cold.
Go on, Steve.
It was to do with the cannonballs.
Yeah. So, Jack in Buckley sent me a thing about what a brass monkey is. And it's the plate where the cannonballs sit. And obviously when it gets cold and they fall off, that's where the saying comes from.
Well.
I'll let you fill the gaps in with the saying, but yeah. Well done, Steve. You get a brownie point for that one.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, we're back. We're back to it, guys. And I've got the pleasure in introducing an interview I did with Terry Maloney, who's still playing euphonium at D-Side Band. And so he's got loads of history. I could have talked to him for hours and hours and hours, but we did a shortened version. So here it is. Enjoy. I've been invited to a banding legend's home, Terry Maloney, and we're just going to chat about his banding life, really. So, Terry, thank you for the invite.
You're welcome.
And I'll start off with, I suppose, the standard question is, how did you get started?
Well, I got started in 1950. I was with a friend in Papermill Lane, Oakenholt. We were on the allotments there, just playing really, not doing anything useful. And he said to me, my uncle is conducting a band in Flint and he wants youngsters to start. Will you come with me? So I went with him to Flint Band, and it turned out to be Flint British Legion Silver Band. I went there, and the first thing they said to me was, bring 2 and 6 next week, son, for a tutor.
Wow.
So I went there the next week, and with me 2 and 6, and had a very simple tutor. And one of the first tunes in it was God Save the King.
Wow.
Because it was 1950, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cool. So what did you? What was your first instrument then?
Oh, my first instrument was a tenor horn.
Right.
They gave me a tenor horn.
See, I never knew that. Yeah. I've always known you as a euphonium player.
That's right. So I was a tenor horn player then for the first, I suppose, 8-9 years. No, less than that. It wasn't that long before I was on baritone.
Okay.
I think that was before I went to West, but I think I was on baritone by then. I had a baritone from Flint, because I remember I used to bring it home and put a vacuum cleaner tube in it to make it sound like a trombone. And I was practicing it.
So how old were you then? When you got onto baritone? When you graduated from horn to baritone, do you think? How old were you then?
It must have been about 3 or 4 years. I think it was just before the band packed up, because I think when I went from there to Westbury, I was on baritone and then on to youth.
Okay.
Alongside...
so what age were you?
Well, I was 13, I suppose.
13?
Yeah.
Right, because so probably then you'd been playing for a good 4 or 5 years then, I take it?
By then I'd been playing for 3 years, I think.
Right, because I started when I was 7, I think it was 7 or 9, I think it was.
Yeah.
So,
been playing about 3 years.
Wow.
And Eric Hopkins was mopping up loose players from when Hollywood had packed up and Flint had packed up. So quite a crowd of us, the bus picked up as it went along all the way from me first at Papermill Oakenholt, picked up in Flint, Baggled. There was two from Riverbank got on.
Right.
Ned Dolly and his son in Riverbank in Baggled. Then it picked up a few in Hollywood with Dave Davis and Cliff Davis.
Right.
One or two others, might be one or two others. Then next one we picked up was the Squares in Moston. Somebody got on the Squares. And then the next one was Bottom of Row in Moston. And that was, what was his name? I forget his name now. Mm. And then Tanlan. And then we all got off at Tulacra and walked up the hill. and it was quite a walk as well, a really steep hill
Right.
from Tulacca going up, with a case as well, and especially eventually later when I got with the euphonium case.
Yeah.
And the band room was in the Vesper band now with that, but the band room was in the garage belonging to the Tulacca Arms. The conductor was Eric Hopkins, who was a very talented man. If you couldn't play a piece, he wasn't very quick to take the instrument off you and say, play it like this. No matter what the instrument was, he'd take it off you and play it, and show you how to play it. It was a good atmosphere. We were, I suppose the average age must have been, there was a few older people. The trombone player was very loud, trombone player. Yeah, it was good. A good band.
So how long were you there at Vesper then?
I need that diary, don't I?
Yeah.
That lasted about 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Because I was going to Connorskey band at the same time. I was playing in Gwespen and Connorskey.
Right. Okay.
That diary proves it.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm explaining to the listeners that I was, before we started this, Terry was just showing me all his history of banding, which is really, really interesting. And there's lots of photographs there. In fact, I'm on one of them, which is quite interesting. But I mean, you got such a colourful history of banding that, you know, and you've been at it how many years?
It was 1950, so it was 75 years this year.
Wow. Okay.
Say 74.
That's a long time to be interested in banding, and you've played for a lot of bands, haven't you? Yeah, continuous banding.
Except for illness.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, and Steve sent me a picture, and I showed it you before, and he said, show this to Terry. And it was you in 1956, we reckoned, didn't we?
56.
And we reckoned you were, what, 17?
18. Yeah.
And I know you can't see it because we're talking, but we'll probably put on our Facebook page the picture. But you were telling me where it was taken, weren't you?
Yeah, taken up Paper Lane it was, at the in the field where you go to Wokenholt Reservoir.
Yeah, and you had a nice hat, didn't you, on the picture?
Yeah.
But you had a euphonium then, didn't you?
I was on euphonium, that's the euphonium, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing with Connorskey Band. We'd just come from the carnival, Connorskey Carnival, which was behind the halfway house. That's where the carnival was. But Connorskey had a very good band when it was really going strong.
Right.
We did a lot of carnivals, as we did in those days, and one that particularly stands out was Courtaulds Carnival in Flint, which we did. And I was on second youth with Seth Davis on solo youth, and I was on second youth. And the thing is, what makes it stand out more than anything is that we played for 26 Morris dancing troops.
Wow.
Imagine playing for 26.
Yeah.
And
What, playing the music for each troop as they were dancing?
Yeah. And we had to play, later on bands were faded out because they brought in tannoy systems.
Right.
Speakers on the top of a van. And we had to keep a strict time. It was always a 6/8 march, like spin along and things like that.
Wow.
And the leader of the lady in charge of the Morris dancing troupe quite often stood next to the conductor to make sure we kept a strict time.
Really?
And very often they use the same march, so we might be playing, and sometimes they brought their own music. So quite often we'd be playing the same march for a lot of different troops. Of course, there's repeats in it, so that was what we had to do. Sess would play the first time, I'd play second time, right through. And by the time you played it half a dozen times, you hardly needed the music. It played it that often.
Okay.
But it was quite a series of quite a few different 6/8 marches that we played for Morris dancing troops.
Which is your favourite one? Can you remember? Your favourite march?
I think the one we played most was called Spin Along. I think it was.
Spin Along.
I think that.
Yeah.
They're all. You can Google them all. They'll all be there somewhere.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, looking at some of the stuff that you show me is a fascinating history, And it was interesting what you said to me when you showed me your autograph book, and you said you were definitely a band geek from an early age. And looking through the book, you got some amazing people in there that you've seen.
Eric Ball.
Yeah, Eric Ball, and we all know Eric Ball. Yeah, Harry Mortimer. Yeah, and they're all people that you seeked out to get signatures.
Walter Hargreaves.
Yeah, which is amazing, really, because I never experienced the Bellevue contest, but I know a lot about it because people have told me about it. And I'm sure when the people we interview for the podcast, they'll all...
It was a great day out. It was a really good day out.
I believe so, yeah.
Because there was a fairground there. There was a speedway.
Yeah.
There was... we used to go home by train, get a train from Longside Station. And it's a pity it faded. I actually played in the very last Bellevue with Chester Band.
Right.
Played in the very last, and it's stamped on my card.
Was that around about the 70s or 80s, was it, the last Bellevue one? I can't remember when it...
It would have to be between 75 and 81.
Yeah, because I remember just missing out on playing out.
I went to the last one, the last Bellevue. And one year with Chester Band, we did 7 contests in the year. So by the time you're doing the third one, your nerves have gone.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're playing a similar test piece.
So, I mean, just going on to the other bands you played for, I know you're now at D-Side. I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if you can answer this, because on the when we were talking about how we got started, the Brass Monkeys got started, my dad got me started in bands, and he played, I'm sure he played for Connors Key, but was Connors, the new D-Side band, was that an amalgamation of 2 bands? I've never...
Later on, I'd been playing for Hollywood. I think I must have had a break, very rare, one of these rare breaks. And I was in the steelworks, walking from the canteen, been to the canteen for my dinner, and I was walking back. And when I got by the slab mill, there was like a boiler house outside, and standing on a platform in this boiler house was Denny Cartwright.
Oh, and Dennis.
Denny Cartwright, Terry, come here. Wow. So I went to see him. He said, I'm playing for the Steelworks Band. Why don't you come and join us? So I joined the Steelworks Band then. I was with them for a long time, quite a long time.
But the Steel Band, that's how the formation of D-Side happened, didn't it?
The Steelworks Band eventually almost faded out.
Yeah.
And Connors Key Band only had a few players, so they amalgamated round about 1979, I think it was. Right,
because I vaguely remembered the story, but I wasn't quite sure of it.
It's written down there.
Yeah, and you just mentioned a good friend of mine, Dennis Cartwright, as well.
And his brother played for us at D-Side.
Yes, I know his brother's good as well, wasn't he?
Billy Cartwright, good cornet player. 2 good cornet players.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. And they played in the army as well, didn't they, I think?
I think they did, yeah. They were in the army bands, yeah.
Yeah, great bandsmen.
They lived not far from me for a while.
Yeah.
They lived in Ledbrook Drive.
Yeah. So moving on from, like I said, so I know you've been at Chester, and you've played for Buckley. You've played for all the bands around here, around North Wales, haven't you? Really. So
some that don't exist.
Some that don't exist anymore. I mean, Flint, obviously.
Penman Mauer Band.
Right. Okay.
That was they were short of a euphonium player, so I was just asked to play for them, and we played in the Denbigh Hospital.
Right, okay.
And they've got a...
Well, that's where they practiced, in the Denbigh Hospital, or...
No.
Oh, right, okay.
No, Penman Mauer Band it was.
Right.
And we played in Denbigh Hospital, did a concert there. It's like a mental institution, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I always remember that one because it was a dark and dreary place to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, other banding memories, what stands out for you the most? What type of things can you remember?
Well, I remember starting in Chester Band from Hollywood, and I was asked to go there by another euphonium player, quite a well-known euphonium player in the area, David Roberts. He said his friend Mervyn Hughes had just taken over Chester Band, and if you come in, you get in straight away on baritone. I went there and I was second baritone, and they said, don't worry, these other two on second baritone are both moving. One was retiring and one was going on to second cornet, so I'd be second baritone. So I got in there on second baritone, and they just won the third section and they were going up to second section. And when I heard them after playing in a fourth section band, it sounded like Black Dyke to me.
Yeah.
I thought, this is fantastic. To be part of that chord, that sound that they made,
Yeah.
really got me, you know. So the first thing I did, I went home and got the tutor out, because I thought, I've got to keep up with these. The standards that much higher, 2 sections higher. So I got my tutor out. I didn't have an arbon, couldn't afford an arbon when I was young. I had a complete method. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, I got that out and started practicing. The second baritone player that wanted, they were going to the finals because they'd won the third section area. So I didn't get to that because it was Derek Mitchell's father, Frank Mitchell.
Right.
He was an ex-trumpet player from Pit Orchestras, smashing fella. Taught me quite a bit as well, sitting next to him. And he wanted to go to the final, to the contest. He said after that he's packing up, and that's what happened. I got in on second baritone, so that's my start. And we played some really good test pieces, went to a lot of contests, played some really good test pieces. We were out nearly every weekend, which was a bit too much really. And we were playing tournament for brass at one contest. And I'm on second youth, second baritone. And the person on first baritone couldn't play the rondo. So they had to photocopy it and paste it onto mine for me to play it. So I was playing the first baritone part on the second baritone, all the bits he couldn't play.
Right.
And after that contest, I got onto first baritone. He went on to bass, this particular player, and I went onto first baritone. And we played it again, that tournament for brass, and it's got octave jumps in it.
It's a cracking test piece, that, isn't it?
Like the test piece, in fact, a real good test. Solos for everybody in it virtually. And then the second youth went, and I got on second youth next to Dave Roberts. He went to Point of Air. Robert Lee took over, a young lad, he was a smashing young lad, really talented. So I was second youth to Robert Lee. And something that really stands out with Robert Lee, smashing lad, really got on great with him. Well, he was a young lad, but he was a bit high-spirited, as they are when you're a teenager. And we did a lot of beer festivals, quite a lot. And we did one in Farndon, I think it was in Farndon, British Legion, in Farndon anyway. Proper beer festival. And this Robert had quite a lot to drink. And his head was going down. I thought, oh, here's my chance now. I'd be able to play the solos. And he had his head down. We're playing all these pieces, you know. Every time a solo come up, his head would go off. And
Really?
Yeah, smashing lad though. Yeah. And he really good. He played varied mood without music. He had eventually John Gollan came there, just 2 conductors, and he nurtured Robert, and he said, I want you to learn varied mood without music. And we played that at Chatsworth House.
Wow.
We did a job there. Yeah, we went all over the place, all prestigious jobs, you know, Shrewsbury Park and by the river, Shrewsbury.
So that was good memories of there then.
Yeah, it really made me as a bandman, really.
Yeah.
It takes you from just moseying along in the 4th section to playing serious music,
Yeah.
and having to really put some effort into it.
It's quite a step up, isn't it?
Yeah, so I never went there without knowing the piece. But I never practiced everything, but what I used to do was top and tail everything. So if there was any bars I couldn't play, I'd make sure I could play them before I went there.
Right.
We played the Frogs, and I think there's 5 sharps in one part of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece, that, isn't it? I've played that.
Yeah, I think we got 5 sharps in it.
Yeah, and it's a change of time signatures as well, like mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it was quite tricky. And one player couldn't read sharps. I didn't like reading sharps. He converted it all to flats.
Really?
The whole section went.
That's a common thing with brass players, you know.
Yeah. Going back to Eric Hopkins, we didn't play the frogs with him, but there was a story about him. He had whenever we played a test piece, he always did the research. He even went to libraries to do the research. And when he was with a band playing the frogs, he took a frog into the band room and said, "This is how it's got to sound." That bloop, bloop, bloop.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And when we played Snowden Fantasy, and England Dude was another one. He did all the research on them. Yeah.
He didn't take you to Snowden, though? No?
Pardon?
He didn't take you to Snowden
Didn't
for that
take
one?
it to Snowden, unfortunately.
No.
That would have been good.
So, I mean, this brings me on, really. So, what's your favourite test piece?
Favourite test piece? I don't know. We've played so many. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that one.
I'll tell you, think of one that you really like, I suppose. I suppose you just mentioned the frogs, really, haven't you?
Yeah, I can tell you a piece I really disliked, and I couldn't see the point in it, is test pieces where there's no tunes.
Right, okay.
And we played that with Buckley, Millennium something, 2000 or something it was called,
Right, okay.
by Howard Snell. And it was really,
Yeah.
I couldn't see a lot of point in that one.
There's a few like that, isn't there? There's been a
plenty like
few
that.
years, but
Yeah,
no.
Resurgam's got to be one of the best that's ever written. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Resurgam,
I agree. That's
Journey
pretty
to
good.
Freedom.
Yeah.
All Eric Ball's test pieces are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
And they all mostly contain a hymn within them. Being an ex, or being a Salvationist.
Yeah, it's the same as Peter. Gone. Can't think of his name. Also ex-Salvationist, done a lot of test pieces.
Yeah.
We've played a lot. No doubt somebody will tell me.
Played Oceans is another one I've played.
Yeah, Oceans, yeah. Spectrum, you done Spectrum?
What happened in Buckley with Paul Lovett Cooper,
Yeah.
they were trying to decide what test piece to play. So one night, we must have played 4 test pieces, trying them all out.
Really?
Now that's quite a feat
Yeah.
to play, and one of them was Oceans.
I've just remembered Peter Graham.
Peter Graham,
Yeah.
ex-Salvationist.
Yeah. That's really good. So, all right then. Struggling with a favourite test piece. How about a favourite contest?
Favourite? That's easy, that one.
Yeah.
With Buckley, when we played under Paul Lovett Cooper, he was bringing it, as he wrote it, he was bringing all little bits and pieces to test out. And eventually, I was on second youth, and eventually we played it through. It was complete, and we premiered it in the contest at Preston in the Guildhall. It had to be played somewhere else before, but we actually premiered it as a test piece in the Guildhall. Then we played it again at Buxton in the Buxton contest.
Right.
And by then, we knew it was a lovely youth part in it.
Okay.
The baritone part wasn't so good, but the youth parts were beautiful, really good. And we were confident. He was conducting, and we got near the end, and he was shouting for more, more, more. And we just give it everything at the end. And we came off, and we thought we've won. No doubt about it, we've won. And the people from the audience were saying, "Yeah, you've walked it. You've won it easy." And we didn't. We were second.
Wow.
But I remember that last note in that. I've never played a last note like I'd played that one in that test piece.
So what was it called?
Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon. Right.
Test
Okay.
piece.
I think I remember Steve Griffiths telling me about that.
It was quite a new way of writing as well, because he had pieces where you could repeat it as much as you wanted.
Yeah.
You could play it 4 times or 5 times, just won't keep repeating it.
Yeah, I'm sure Steve told me about that. He must have been there. Steve Griffiths.
Yeah,
was it?
what's her name was there? What's her name was there? Not Steve, the trombone player, your mate.
Doug.
Doug.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah.
He was in that
I'm
band.
sure Steve was on Cornet, wasn't he then? Steve Griffiths?
Oh, Steve Griffiths.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Steve.
No.
Steve Griffiths was definitely there. He was solo cornet.
Solo cornet, yeah, because I'm sure he told me about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another story.
He was definitely there.
So, okay, so we've done that. How about your favourite solo? Because you must have done a few through the years.
Yeah.
On Euphonium now, doing a test on Euphonium, because you've probably done
I've
loads.
I've done loads on Euphonium, yeah, of course. My favourite solo listening to somebody else, not me playing it, is listening to somebody else, is my Vanwy.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And the best I've ever heard it playing was in a solo contest in Colwyn Bay, Dave Roberts playing it, because it was more or less written for him.
Amazing player.
Right? The same contest a different year. We got first, and I played Genie with the Light Brown Hair in it. Another one I played, going back when it first came out, was what was it called? Phantom of the Opera, Music of the Night.
Yeah.
I played that one in Kelston College in a contest there, concert there. Solo I'm playing at the moment is A Little Prayer.
Yeah.
What's his name plays it? I've forgotten his name now. David Childs plays it.
It's a lovely piece of music, that.
Lovely piece of music. I play that. I've been playing that in concerts.
Right.
Let's see. I went on holiday to Mallorca for 2 weeks. It's a D-side band now. We had a concert in the Cons Club. I came back. Who was conducting us? Steve, what's his name? Joan. Conducts Llandudno band now. I think he was conducting us then.
Right.
And he put... I had no practice. I'd just come back the same day, the next day after being away in Mallorca for a fortnight. And he put Blade and Races on.
Oh, wow.
And I had to play, I've been playing it in other concerts before that, but I had to play it in that concert without being 2 weeks with no rehearsal.
I must have been confident in you then.
I played it. I got through it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. So, okay, favourite conductor you've played under?
It's two.
Okay.
When we were at D-side, we had a conductor came. He was living in Cheshire and he came to conduct us. He sent an application in with this fantastic writing. It was copperplate writing, what they call calligraphy.
Oh, right.
And it was all in that sort of writing. And we were doing quite a big job in New Brighton. It was a big festival of the British Legion. And we were in the dressing room there, and then we were looking at it. And this was from Barry Hudson. And he was our conductor. And he took us from just playing a piece to playing everything properly and being spot on. He said, "This is me." He held his baton up and said, "This is the fulcrum of my beat. This is when you should all be playing at this particular point." And he was really good, really good. I've spoken to him since.
Right. Does he? Yeah.
He's a talented artist as well.
Right.
Barry Hudson. His son, he used to bring his son with him, Nick Hudson, solo trombone for Fodens. And his wife and his son used to come with him.
Right.
The other one is Paul Lovett Cooper, because he was quite easy to follow really, and he knew what he was very good. And I liked, one thing I particularly liked about his conducting was if he got lost, every time he came to a number or a letter, he gave it two hands.
Oh, really?
So if you got lost, you knew where where you were.
Oh, well, that's good, isn't it?
I've tried to encourage other conductors to do it, but it seems to fall on deaf ears.
Oh, that's quite good, quite clever, really, isn't it?
I've played under plenty of good conductors. I mean, Mervyn was one of my favourites as well. Mervyn Hughes.
Well, he's another musician I want to grab hold of. We want to talk to. If we can.
You
We'd
should
love
definitely
to talk to Mervyn. Yeah, I know Mervyn.
He's been everywhere, played for the Beatles.
Yeah, I know he is. Yeah, he's got
very good.
Probably lots of stories to tell. Well, we could talk all night, Terry, because, I mean, you've shown me all that stuff and you've got so much history there. But we'll have to wrap it up. But before we go, I want to ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
So, who's your banding hero?
Well, I showed you the autograph book,
You did.
didn't I? Mm-hmm. And at the time, that was when you did have banding heroes, because you wanted to be like them. And he showed me that a euphonium could be played in any type of music. He was doing, you could play jazz on it, you could play whatever you wanted. And being stuck in the brass band groove, was thinking euphonium was just a brass band, but you could do anything with it. And his name was Harry Cheshire.
Okay.
He sold a youth for ferries. And he really did impress me.
So he was your inspiration, your hero.
And yeah, there's others you could mention, many. I mean, Philip McCann,
Yeah.
cornet player, best cornet sound in the world.
James Shepherd for me.
Jimmy Shepherd.
Yeah.
I admired him with his versatile brass.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Very good.
So the next one, which might be a tricky one. If you could join any band at any time in their history, who would you join?
Well, there's a massive choice.
There is.
Especially after 70 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have to go back to my youth again.
Okay.
When they were this particular band, same band really. It'd have to be Fairy Aviation as it was then. They were right at the top. Fantastic players, fantastic sock player. Get his name now. And the concert I went to where I got those autographs was at it was de Havilland's at the time,
Yeah.
where Airbus is now.
They had a lovely ballroom there, didn't
That's
they?
it, in their ballroom. That's what it was. And because they were both aircraft industry, that's how it was.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I went to that concert there, and that's why I got all those
Autographs of those
autographs.
players.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And one last one. This is a tricky one, this one. How would you sum up, how would you describe banding in 3 words?
It's not that tricky, really,
Is it not?
because I've thought about it.
Oh, okay.
The first one, without a doubt, is community. Wherever you go in the country, find a brass band and you're in. You've got friends. So it's got to be community.
Okay.
Second one, without a doubt, is education. Because music is educational. It's science, it's art, it's history, it's literature.
Yeah,
Because everything in music is inspired by all of that.
it is. You're right.
So
I've never thought about it that way, but you're right. It's also a universal language, isn't it?
it's very universal, yeah. Anywhere you go, like, what's her name? Has just moved to France, been there 4 or 5 years. Sue Bahama.
Yeah, yeah.
She's gone to France, straight away joined a band.
Right.
So she's enjoying this wherever you go.
Yeah, that's true. And the last one, that's 2.
What was the last one?
So you've got your first one, which is community.
Community,
The second one,
education,
education.
or therapy.
Therapy.
It's
Right.
very
okay.
therapeutic. If ever you feel down, get your instrument out and play some music.
Right.
It's really therapeutic. And listening to music can be therapeutic. And inspiring.
And good for you.
And good for you. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Same thing.
yeah. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to your home and giving me a brief history of your banding. I mean, 70 odd years is a lot to go through, and it's been a real pleasure. And like I said, the idea of this is to try and get people's histories of banding. But thank you very much, Terry.
You're welcome.
Well, guys, what do you think of that?
It was very, very interesting. I loved the answers that he gave to the 3 questions. I must say, really good answers, those.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, he could have talked. We could have talked all night. I mean, I got to his home, and had a whole history of banding in front of me, diaries and photographs. I'm on one of them as well. And his diary went 1956 diary, And he had all dates in it when he got on the bus to different bands and stuff. It was amazing to hear. But yeah, I mean,
He's been there for over 70 years, hasn't he?
yeah, well, he's been doing it, for that long, yeah.
He's getting there slowly, isn't he?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Keeps going, keep practicing.
Keep going.
One thing I did notice, Richard, I did pick up on, he didn't mention anything about the whip marches.
Yeah, because I forgot to ask him.
Oh,
But what do you think his answer was?
I don't know.
With what?
Yeah, he's never done it.
Well, that's
In all his years of band, he's
Wow.
never done it.
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I think I don't know if he's. I don't think he still marches, but I think I know I'm going to ask if we can, if Buckley, if we do it, he can come and guest on the stage.
Yeah, even if he just walked to the area that you stand and play,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know if we can do that, but I don't know.
That's one to.
Could you do that, Steve? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's no
Yeah,
registration, is there?
Oh, you can do what you want, really.
Oh, that sounds interesting. So that was that, really, guys. It was great to talk to him, and he's got some fantastic stories and a fantastic bandsman. So join us next time. I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about because we probably would have done the area by then, wouldn't we? And there's probably lots of diary bits and snippets.
Hopefully we'll get a decent result, which certainly after driving all the way down there.
Yeah. Well, it's it's a long way to go. So good luck to all the bands that are competing.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a bye from me.
And goodbye from Doug.
And a bye from Steve as well.